At 9 years old, I said to myself, and I said to my mum, I don't believe that the Creator and Jesus are the same thing.
So he's not a Christian.
So there you go, then I'm not a Christian.
You weren't a Christian. But you tried to tell me you were a Christian.
No, there's different Christians who say you would be a
Christian. So why is it all these new converts to Islam all present themselves as ex-Christian? I'll tell you why. Because it is something that is well received in the mosque. They're applauded for it.
What do you mean?
It gives them extra status within the mosque. It isn't because these people have ever been true disciples of Christ. I am telling you that at 9 years old, you could not be having that.
How can you say that I'm not a Christian?
Can I finish?
No, because you're saying...
Right, you just asked me a question. Let me answer your question. I know you're part of the Dawah team, but try not to pick up their manners. A Christian is someone who is consciously a disciple of Christ. They're seeking to follow Christ in their life. When you're 9 years old, if you have come to the conclusion that Jesus is not God, you are not yet a disciple of Christ, even if you're in a Christian family. Did you ever believe that Jesus was God?
No.
Right. So at no point was he a Christian. So but he's gone around on camera saying that he was an ex-Christian. So he's been lying. Why has he been lying? Because it is a narrative that is well received amongst Muslims.
No, it's not.
It means he gets applauded, people shake his hand, people applaud him, pat him on the back, and he likes the ego boost.
Lying, man.
He likes the ego boost.
No, brother, I can do it myself.
So now we've established that you were never an ex-Christian.
Okay, I was never a Christian.
Never, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Now we've established that you were never an ex-Christian. What I would like is for you to tell the story, because Christians need to hear this, particularly Christian leaders. Tell them what happened when you went to the church and why you didn't find it fulfilling and why you turned to Islam.
No answer. I asked from the Bible. They were telling me from their own selves.
Exactly.
So insincere, that's insincerity.
So they
weren't 17-year-old boy.
So they weren't engaging with your questions properly.
Who lives in a working class area.
Yeah.
People are telling you there's no God.
Yeah.
People are telling you this.
Yeah.
I went to church to try and get away from all this.
Yeah.
Alcohol was a big thing. Drugs were a big thing where I lived.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to church to get away from it all.
And
they were giving me no answers.
I agree. But that part of your story.
I ended up in EDL.
That part of your story sounds true, because there are lots of lost souls amongst the working class English who are looking for answers, and an effeminate, weak church, fair enough, Welsh, an effeminate, weak church is not providing the answers that people are looking for.
Say that again. What do you mean?
An effeminate, weak church.
What do you mean by that?
Means something that has no sense of a clear identity rooted firmly in the traditions of the faith.
So what about
with a clear understanding of itself, a clear identity.
Church, they taught me that Jesus was the Son of God. Then I went to another church and they taught me the Trinity. So how confusing is that for kids my age?
For a 17-year-old. For a 17-year-old. If they are not explaining the faith to you correctly.
How do you know that a 17-year-old who lives on a council estate where everyone's telling you there's no God?
Well, this is my point. I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you that your misstep into Islam was born out of the failure of the church. The church failed you. And I agree with that part of your testimony.
No.
Working class lads are looking for identity and a strong community with a clear identity. And they are not finding it in the church. They're not finding it in the church. And they're going to things like the EDL for it. And they're not finding it in the EDL. And they're finding it in the mosque. And until Christians face up to that fact, we will not be able to reach out to the working class.